On my desk at work was a beautifully designed invitation. It was a sign that my daughter Vanessa was getting married. I wanted her wedding to be perfect. "Lucy, over here." I called out to my wife to show her the invitation. When Lucy walked in, she saw the invitation and smiled. "Oh, George, this is so beautiful. Vanessa will be happy," she said. I was glad I decided to pay for the wedding. Vanessa had been through a lot of hardship, and I wanted to support her, to show her I loved her despite all our arguments. Over the next few weeks, we worked hard planning the wedding. We chose the venue, the decorations, and discussed all the details with the planner. I was excited and proud that I could help make my daughter's day unforgettable. In the evening, I sat down to talk to Lucy about the money we would be spending on the wedding. "We're lucky we can afford it," I said. Lucy agreed. "George, that's good of you. Vanessa will appreciate it." I didn't yet know that we would soon be facing a difficult time, full of strong feelings that had long been. With each passing day, I grew more and more restless. I had a suspicion that there was something wrong with my daughter Vanessa's behavior. To clarify the situation, I decided to contact the wedding organizer and check the guest. The organizer politely answered me on the phone. I said I was checking the details of the wedding and noticed that my wife and his name was not on the guest list. I asked if that was a mistake. The organizer was silent for a moment and then apologized and said that Vanessa had specifically requested that we not be on the list and asked me not to tell us. I was shocked and upset. After all, we were funding the wedding. The organizer confirmed that he had followed Vanessa's instructions and that she didn't want us to get involved. I felt that as the father of the bride, I was entitled to know who was invited. After some insistence, the organizer reluctantly agreed to show me the list. As I ran my eyes over the names, I felt sad that we really weren't. It made me angry and confused. Now only Vanessa could explain why this had happened. So we decided to ask her. That evening I met Lucy in our living room. "Do you understand this, Lucy?" I asked. "Vanessa purposely left us off the guest list. I can't understand why she would do that." Lucy wrinkled her forehead in puzzlement and replied, "There must be some explanation. We need to talk to her, figure it out, and try to make things right." I had no idea that this revelation would spark a serious conversation with my daughter and reveal long-lurking anger and resentment. Vanessa kept her distance from me, so I decided to ask her why directly. I couldn't understand why she was mad at me because all I wanted to do was organize her dream wedding. As the day came to an end, I called Vanessa and said seriously, "We need to talk." My feelings were bubbling up inside. "What's wrong, Daddy?" Vanessa asked, her voice sounding calm, like she was expecting a casual conversation. I took a deep breath, trying to calm myself down. "I saw the guest list. Or rather, I noticed we weren't on it." "What does that mean, Vanessa?" "It's my wedding, and I decide who comes." "You've already done enough. I don't need your input." "Don't ruin my day," Vanessa said after a pause. Her words were like a punch. She added that she wanted the best for me and Dad and for herself. I wanted to understand why she felt that way. So I asked about the reasons for her displeasure. "You don't understand. You've never been there for me when I needed you. You always chose others over me," she said. Her words were like a knife. "I tried to do the best I could. I thought I was protecting and providing for you," I replied with a tremor in my voice. "But you never protected me from her," Vanessa said. "You brought her into our lives and acted like she was my mother, and always put her first," she continued. Lucy gently interjected, "We're a family, Vanessa. We've always overcome everything together. I've tried to be there for you." But Vanessa's bitterness only intensified. "I don't know what family is anymore. Dad, you always chose it, and I suffered," she said. This confrontation brought to light long-standing issues and resentment. We were left with unresolved feelings and the weight of the past. The conversation with Vanessa opened deep wounds that seemed impossible to heal. Accusations and unresolved issues hung over us, overshadowing the joy of the upcoming event. I couldn't accept the betrayal and made a decision that shook up all the wedding plans. One morning, with a heavy heart, I called the wedding planner and told him I was canceling all arrangements. The organizer was surprised and alarmed. "Mr. Scott, are you sure? This could have serious consequences." I knew that my daughter deliberately didn't want me and my wife at her wedding, and this was changing everything. I explained how seriously I was taking this decision, and soon the news of the cancellation spread. Chaos ensued. Everyone working on the wedding was in confusion, trying to salvage something. The venue, previously decorated, Later that day, Lucy and I sat in the silence of our living room, pondering the implications of my decision. Lucy understood my feelings and asked if I had done the right thing by canceling the wedding. I sighed under the weight of my decision. I can't celebrate the day knowing that we're not expected to be there. It's bitter, but it's how I express my pain. I replied. Each day I felt the harshness of my decision more and more strong. When Vanessa found out about the cancellation, my phone rang. I hesitated before picking it up. It was Vanessa. Frustration and bewilderment could be heard in the receiver. "Daddy, what did you do?" "You ruined everything," Vanessa said. I replied. "I didn't ruin anything, Vanessa. A wedding is supposed to be a celebration of love and family, but I can't be a part of it unless you want me to be." I could hear the sadness in my voice. Canceling the wedding was a last resort, but it was the only way to show my pain. I couldn't imagine the consequences this decision would have on our relationship. Canceling the wedding cast a shadow over our home, beginning a new, uncertain chapter. The atmosphere that had once been full of anticipation for the wedding was now somber, reflecting the pain Lucy and I were going through as we dealt with the consequences of my decision. The weight of my father's pain hung over me. One evening, sitting in the semi-darkness of the living room, Lucy gently brought up a question that hung in the air. "George, I can see the pain in your eyes. Are you sure canceling the wedding was the right decision?" I sighed, trying to keep my emotions in check. "Lucy, I can't celebrate a day that should be joyous knowing that I'm not wanted there. This isn't just about the wedding. It's about Vanessa deliberately excluding us. I had to do so." Lucy took my hand, offering comfort. "George, I understand, but we have to find a way to make peace with Vanessa. A father and daughter shouldn't be in this situation." The days went by and I spent them in thought and regret. Sitting across from Vanessa in the secluded coffee shop, I could feel the nervousness that had accompanied every previous conversation we'd had since the wedding had been canceled. A silence hung between us, full of unspoken words and unresolved feeling. "Dad, I know we both did the wrong thing," Vanessa began, her voice shaking with tension. "I didn't mean to hurt you. I just felt like you didn't understand me, didn't see my true needs." I sighed, realizing that this was a moment that could determine the future of our relationship. "I'm listening, Vanessa, and I admit that I may have made mistakes, but you have to understand that my actions were driven by the pain of your decision to exclude us from your day," I replied, trying to speak calmly. "I realized it too late," Vanessa said, lowering her gaze to her cup of coffee. "I was so caught up in my feelings that I didn't see how my decisions would affect you and Mom." In that moment, a bridge of understanding began to build between us. We were both willing to admit our mistakes and try to repair the lost connection. "So what now, Vanessa? Can we start over? Can we build a new relationship based on mutual understanding and respect?" I asked, genuinely wanting healing. Vanessa nodded, tears welling up in her eyes. I want that, Daddy. I want us to be a family despite everything. We spent a few hours around the table, slowly sorting out the complexities of our relationship and thinking about how we could move forward. It was the beginning of a reconciliation process that would take time and effort on both sides, but the first step had been taken. We both realized that it was important to work on our relationship to heal old wounds and build a new future together. Vanessa looked at Lucy and her gaze softened. I know, Lucy, she said. I just felt like there was a wall between us that I couldn't get over in any way. I felt like Daddy always put you first, and I felt rejected. I exchanged glances with Lucy, and we both realized that Vanessa's problems were rooted deeper than we thought. Vanessa, I've always wanted only the best for you, I said. But I realize that my actions may have hurt you. I apologize for the pain I've caused you, and I apologize too, Lucy added. I never wanted you to feel left out. We can all work on our relationship to make it stronger. Vanessa nodded and breathed a sigh of relief. Thank you for coming today. I thought that once the wedding was canceled, there would be a wall between us forever. No, Vanessa, I said. We are a family, and while we may argue and disagree at times, the love and bond between us is stronger than any disagreement. Let's work together to repair our relationship. We spent a few more hours in the coffee shop discussing how we could better communicate and support each other. It wasn't just a conversation, it was the beginning of a healing process. We agreed to meet regularly to make sure we stayed on the same page and that each of us felt heard and valued. As we left the coffee shop, I felt a heavy stone fall from my heart. Although there was a lot of work to do, I was determined to reconnect with my daughter and build a new family where everyone feels loved and important. I've been angry for a long time. It's time to let go of that anger and find a way to heal. However, this process will not happen overnight. The attempt at reconciliation marked the beginning of a difficult journey toward understanding and forgiveness. We left the coffee shop that day with a tentative agreement to work on repairing our relationship. Little did I realize that this was just the beginning of a series of revelations that would change the dynamics of our family. Weeks turned into months, and Vanessa and I had moments of progress and setbacks during our tentative reconciliation. Although we tried to repair our damaged relationship, we both realized that some wounds were too deep to fully heal. Vanessa was beginning a new chapter in her life, and I was struggling with the fact that there were some things that a father's love couldn't fix. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across our living room, and the weight of unspoken words and unresolved emotions hung in the air, her eyes expressed regret and confession when she said, Dad, I've decided to move on with my life. Matt and I have broken up. Vanessa confessed, the weight of past disappointments audible in her voice. I nodded, feeling melancholy. Life is full of twists and turns and surprises. I wish you the strength to get through them and find the happiness you deserve. Lucy stepped forward, silently observing our family dynamic. Vanessa's father and I wish you nothing but the best, regardless of what has happened between us. We wish you a future filled with joy and fulfillment. Vanessa's eyes filled with a mixture of gratitude and sadness. I never thought it would turn out like this, Daddy. I didn't want it to end this way. Our path had been difficult, and I sighed, acknowledging that, Vanessa, life is unpredictable. We may not always understand each other, but I hope you find the happiness you're looking for. I wish you all the best. When Vanessa left, the door closed behind her. I felt relief, sadness, and guilt. Although the attempt at reconciliation had brought moments of understanding, it was clear that some wounds. Lucy put his hand on my shoulder reassuringly. George, you did the best you could. Lucy whispered her words, carrying the wisdom of experience. The echoes of a father's love and his daughter's pain echoed in the silence of the living room as Vanessa entered the next chapter of her life. I wish her a future filled with healing and happiness. Through the example of family relationships, I have learned that love can be expressed by letting go,